This is Dr. Mahesh Goenka. I am the president of APDW 2019, organizing this meeting in Kolkata this year. And I have with us Dr. Vargo, who is the president of ASGE and has traveled all the way from US to be a part of this meeting. John, good evening. So, as you told me, is it the first time that you've come to India?
It's my first time.
So, how's the feeling about the city as such and about this conference?
I must tell you, Goenka, when I've been enveloped in hospitality, watching dedicated physicians talk about patient care. I've been very impressed with this meeting, and allow me to extend my congratulations. I've basically dove into the meeting this morning and haven't come up for air yet. It's been fantastic. I went to 3 sessions this morning. I went to the opening ceremony, which is just fantastic in so many ways. And they had to rest me from the live endoscopy for this, and very much enjoying the visit. And again, I'm very honored to be here and representing ASGE, so thank you for that.
Thank you. So, so you represent a very important association, which is called ASGE, American Society of GI Endoscopy. And I've been associated with the local society, which is called Society of GI Endoscopy of India. I was the president till about 2 years back. And I'm presently the editor-in-chief of the journal which the SGEI makes. So, how is ASGE moving forwards? What are the new mottos? What are the new motives?
Well, I think our motives, what I take from the messaging from this meeting is we have so many commonalities, and one of them has always been about patient care and doing the right thing for patients. And I think in this world, as we're evolving, the whole idea of education has shifted. We still have our meetings, our traditional meetings, where we're sitting down and hearing lectures, but more and more we have to be able to morph our educational platforms to some extent so that it's virtual and it's online. So it's readily available 24/7. And one of the areas that I've been focusing on with the ASGE is developing our GI Leap virtual platform for educational learning. There's a time where at 10 o'clock at night, you and I are having our umpteenth cup of coffee, and we may want to see a various technique, or I may want to see a lecture on something, and that may be my 20-minute snippet of time during that entire day where I may be able to do that. We're seeing more and more of that. I think our members, both in the States as well as internationally, are appreciate that. The other piece that is extremely important, and I consider it mission critical, is nurturing and developing our international societal relationships. It's very important. What we do is become compressed. Cities aren't city-states when it comes to patient care, and we need to be building the bridges in terms of training, education, and research. It's never been more critical for us to do that.
So I've been associated with your international committee. I was a member of that committee for I think 2 terms, maybe about 4 years. I see a number of international guys sitting together and interacting, and see how the international guys outside the USA can be incorporated into the ASGE system. Frankly speaking, I think while a lot is being done, a lot may be done in the future. So are there any thought process as to how do we have more international participation in the ASGE programs so that resourceful areas as well as the resource-limited people can interact with the motives what ASGE is meant for?
That's a timely question, and it's actually one we were wrestling with just a few hours ago. I was meeting with our international committee chair, Mustafa Ibrahim, somebody I know that you know him very well, and we're actually, we've evolved to the point where instead of coming to societies or coming to an international meeting and saying, here is our recipe book, it now has to have flexibility. So when we look at the ASGE Learning Center, what can we put in it to optimize the course attendees? Can we customize that curriculum? How can we take some of the video capabilities of GI Leap, connect it with hands-on as well as an expert? If you think about it, wouldn't it be wonderful if you could watch a GI Leap video by an expert, have a hands-on experience with an expert, and then have maybe a lunch with that person. So you're getting multi multidisciplinary, multimodality approaches to that. I think that's extremely important. There's other areas around the world, they just don't have the infrastructure, but they thirst for the education. And we're actually looking at taking our GI Leap platform and seeing how we could subscribe that so that those that can't come to APDW or they can't come to DDW, how can we reach them? And I think a powerful tool for that will be GI Leap in terms of virtual education.
So John, you talked about GI Leap. One of the politico-economic questions which I have is some of the societies like American College of Gastroenterology has made 2 types of membership. Those for the resource-limited countries, the membership charges are less. And as a governor of ACG, I have been able to convince a lot of people to become the member of ACG. Are you thinking about doing something similar so far as the ASGE is concerned? I was on the international committee and we discussed this several times on the international committee of the ASGE. But I think there were some issues. Because of this, we couldn't take a concrete decisions. I think if some formula can be worked out, which can be win-win situations, that we can make many more members of the ASGE, international members, if some resource limited countries have something to share in a cost being less.
I absolutely agree with you. This is something that's come up to the board many times, but I really believe for us to do our modus operandi, our raison d'etre for being who we are is our inclusiveness. It's a very powerful tool, and it's something as president that I'm very seriously looking into. I think we need to be able to broadcast as wide or cast as wide a net as possible. Yes, I agree.
Maybe you can cut down on the cost of the printed journal, and these people may be only getting the online version. So I think some formula needs to be worked out. I can tell you there's a great demand for becoming the member of the ASGE, but the people think that giving an amount of money every year may not be feasible, so they are a little reluctant to become the member. So I think I would request on behalf of the SGEI, Society of GI Endoscopy of India, that somehow we can work out something that whatever you have the problems economically for the DDW participation, maybe the SGEI, Society of GI Endoscopy, can get associated in some way and fulfill that gap so that more and more people can become members from the country like India.
I think with 2 phenomenal groups such as we both have the pleasure and honor of leading, I think it's doable, and it's certainly something we're looking into. I would say it's a mission critical appraisal that we need to grasp.
So I'm aware of some of the other international collaborations which are going on, that you have ASG accredited hospitals. Like we have a couple of hospitals in India, in Hyderabad, in my own city, where some guys come from US for some training, hands-on training. So I think this is something which we need to popularize, because there are a number of centers in India which can impart good training on certain diseases which are not so prevalent in USA. But with the population moving so much, everybody needs to know a little bit about all the diseases.
I agree. I think one of the programs that we're most proud of is our unit recognition program, and we are very much looking into the potential of taking that on an international basis. I think it gives us an opportunity to learn about high-functioning units, and there can be some phenomenal cross-fertilization so that both the units as well as the organizations benefit from that.
I think it's a very good point. We in the Society of GI Endoscopy of India also have a unit recognition system. Various hospitals are recognized as basic endoscopy hospitals and the advanced endoscopy hospitals, and it's working out very well. So I think we can, and actually when I was the president of SGEI, I took the input from your hospital unit recognition thing and we modified it according to our need, and I think that's working out. So if we can develop a system in which ASGE, as you said, is being proposed, recognizes the units in the country like India, so that will help, a lot of confidence will build up. This is sort of accrediting the units to be doing good work.
This is something we discussed at our last governing board meeting in November, so this is being given serious consideration. I've been very pleased with our board's outlook on this. I've also been very pleased with our international committee, their ability to really look into this carefully and really help us develop that strategy and portfolio.
The other thing I was wondering is that we have a journal which is published by Society of GI Endoscopy of India, and we call it Journal of Digestive Endoscopy. So I was wondering whether you would be getting a lot of articles. To be true, I mean, you must be rejecting a lot of them, which are not bad, but are not being published because you have limited space. So is there any way where we can have a joint manuscript submission, or we tell them that this is an alternate place where you can publish your articles, and so that the quality of Journal of Digestive Endoscopy, which I am at present the editor-in-chief, but I'm not very happy with the quality of content of the papers. The prints are very good, it's coming out timely, but can you discuss this in the editorial board that somehow these authors can be given a chance, that since it's already been worked up, these articles already worked up, somebody has already reviewed it, so with modifications, whatever little cheap modifications are required, we can offer them an alternate place of publication.
This is certainly something we could look into. You know, many times I get approached, and I'm sure you do too, Dr. Goenka, where do I send this manuscript? It got rejected, where should I send it next, etc. And it's very few people, it's usually senior people such as ourselves that can help navigate through this, and I think that that's a great opportunity. GIE's acceptance rate is, I think, between 11 and 18%, so we definitely, I'm sure there's some very solid manuscripts that are not being accepted, so this would be a great opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you, John, for spending time. It's
Thank
a pleasure.
you
It's a
very
pleasure.
much. Congratulations on a phenomenal meeting.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
very honored to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.